Welcome to the Film Garage 208 podcast. My name is Sarah, and this is Daniel.
Hello.
Hello. Today we have with us Rad and Teasha, who are the owners of Sun Gun Tanning here in Idaho Falls.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Well, Ammon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah,
We're
thank
super
you.
excited.
Yeah, we're
Of
excited.
course. So you own a spray tan business,
Yes.
which you do like classes. You do a whole bunch of stuff, right?
It's
Yeah.
more than just spray tanning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like 3 different tiers that
Okay.
we have to
Okay.
our business. So we have our service side, so people can come in, get custom spray tans, get like the whole luxury service. And then we have our product side where we sell self-tanning products online to the consumers. And then we also have a whole education courses that we do. So
That's awesome.
Cool.
yeah.
You've hit every single like area of revenue that you could with this.
Right.
Yes.
Pretty much.
That's so smart.
Yeah.
So smart.
Sure. Yeah.
Was that the intention the whole time?
No,
No?
it was like, oh, we'll start this. Okay, this is good. This is good. But then, oh, this would be funner. Like this would be.
I see.
And then it was just like more excitement dragging, taking us there. And then we're like, oh, cool. Okay. And then it was just like organic. It was just what people were wanting.
I see.
And so it just made sense to like go in those directions. Then we're like, oh, this is working. Cool.
Yeah.
Now let's reverse engineer this and like get it. Now that we've like proven the concepts, now how do we make it?
Sure.
Sus-
So did the
Sustainable.
spray tan come first?
Yes.
Yeah, break
First
it
step?
down. So how did you get started in this? How did it?
Okay, so about 6 years ago, and I almost started it even like 4 years prior to that, but wasn't good timing. So started the business, and I told Rad, because at the time I was a full-time, I taught dance
Okay.
full-time, part-time. Anyways,
Mhm.
as also being a mom. And so I told him, and I always had this like draw to it, like I said, even 4 years prior. And I didn't end up doing it, and it doesn't go away. Like once you get that like bug for it. And so anyways, after having my daughter, I was, feeling like lost in momhood and
Mhm.
just wanted something of my own in a sense. And so I told Brad, I was like, I think I want to start this business, but like really small on the side.
Okay.
And he was like, okay, not in like, you can't do it, but like, you can't do anything just like
just
little
small
on the side.
On the side.
Like he like,
This isn't just a little
knew.
project.
Yeah. And I was like, no,
She doesn't have little
no.
projects.
It's going to be like, don't you even worry. Because also at the time, I would overcommit myself to like a lot of things, right? So he
Yes.
was also trying to
ADHD
be
brain.
like,
Yeah.
Literally.
like,
Yeah.
what? Do you have time for that? So it was literally the worst time to be starting a business. So I just had my baby, going through like baby blues,
Mhm.
right? And then like my health was awful. And that's when I was like, yeah,
Time to start a business.
time to start a business. We're going to do that. But it ended up like saving me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I knew I would
Mhm.
like it. I had no idea how much I would love it. So I started with the spray tans. I'm like, I'm going to be mobile. I'm going to be different. I'm going to go to people's houses. And then I learned like people don't care. They don't care if I'm coming to their house, if I'm spraying them in a closet, if I'm spraying them in my daughter's room. Like they just love the experience that they're having with me. And so I was like, cool. Okay, well, how can I serve more people? So then I had a boutique reach out to me, and they're like, hey, do you want to come spray literally in our closet? And I was like, sure, we can try it. Like,
Okay.
we'll try that out. So I did that, and it was awesome.
And that was your first like going into a boutique to spray versus your
Yeah.
house. And
Yeah. And then that's when it like shifted my whole mindset of like, okay, I'm not going to be mobile anymore.
Okay.
I'm going to be in like a location. And then that's when Rad was kind of like, yeah, you're having like enough people. You need to hire someone now.
Great.
And then, yeah. And then he was kind of like helping me see. He's always like the big picture type of like thinker with it. So he'd be like, okay, well, with the time that you're putting into dance and doing all of that.
right.
like,
Because you're doing that at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was just doing it like a couple nights a week
I
after I
see.
was done teaching dance when it fit around my family
Yeah.
life.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it just started to like take off, and it got to a point where like we got to choose. We got to choose which one, And then that's when he was kind of like, I think you've done the dance thing. Like you've served your time there. Like I think you're being called to like do this. And so he helped me see like the bigger picture dream
Yeah.
to let go of the other dream, which was hard. I ended
The
up
steps,
leaving in the
yeah.
middle of the season, like the dance season.
Mm-hmm.
And I
But
had,
you had been doing for how long?
like 12 years.
So that was a big deal.
Yeah.
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 Well, it was like
Huge.
her identity a little bit.
Yeah.
She grew up dancing.
And all
she
these
had her own
kids that probably looked
studio.
up to
Yeah,
you and-
exactly. Like she had like progressed with these kids pretty much.
Yeah, that'd be super hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a really hard decision. And I stayed a lot later than I should have. Like the signs were there before, you know?
That you
And
should
I-
have quit and like jumped out and
Yes, that I was being pushed in this other direction. And I was like, no, that's my identity. When people ask what I do, I want to say that I'm a dance coach. Like that means
I
so
see.
much to me. And so I
Yeah.
ended up staying. And then I ended up literally in the middle of the season being like, yeah, I have to choose now. Like,
What was the moment?
So, yeah, like with something
Yeah.
you were so passionate about with the dance,
mhm.
what part of the spray tan was like enticing to you that made you want to like do that so much? Was it like the making the money or your own lifestyle that really interested you, or was it just the literal spray tanning?
That's a great question. So in the beginning, I think like for a lot of people in this industry, it's, oh, I want to make some extra income for my family. I don't want to have to ask my husband for money. I want to make my own damn money.
yeah. Uh-huh.
But like he
Sure.
would give it, not that he would. It's just sometimes
Yeah,
that's
no,
weird.
just
Like,
do
hey,
something
can I,
yourself.
She had
Yeah.
all the money.
can I have
Yeah.
money to go buy you a birthday present? Like,
Absolutely.
you know, or anyways, like there's just that I want my money.
It was
just
just-
fill your own cup.
Yeah.
I
Like,
think it was like maybe you don't really realize like what the moment was, but it was just like the dance was just so there was so much drama, to be honest. Like and it was robbing her energy, and like she was getting so much energy from the spray tans that you could like see like every time she'd come home from dance, like I got kind of like tired of hearing about all the drama. I was like, okay, like you need to really choose and like where are you gonna invest your energy? Like if you did the spray tans full time and put your energy in that, what would that look like versus like splitting your time? And I think at that point you were like, yeah, like this really isn't as fun as it was anymore. And it wasn't like from any like one reason from
No.
dance, but it was the time to shift to just level up, I think for
Yeah,
you.
I was just being so resistant to it. And like
Yeah.
that's literally where I was being pushed to do. And to go back to your question of like, in the beginning, I thought it was because of one thing, but it really was I was craving connection with people. Like I felt lonely, even though I was surrounded by so many people.
in your dance world.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And like great friends, great relationships, but I was craving something deeper and more. And that's what I was getting from this.
Yeah.
And I mean, first, like everyone gets sprayed for a different reason. Like for me, it's literally like an instant confidence boost, right? Like me being sick at the time, and we were actually like really scared. I was like 95 pounds.
Oh
We
my
weren't
goodness.
sure
Oh
what
my
was
God.
going on.
Wow.
Losing your hair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
losing hair, like almost passing out. Like it was crazy. And
After your first child.
my second.
Oh, okay. At that point.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so, anyways, and that's when he was like, I can see your ribs. Like, what's like, you have to choose.
It's like
which-
physically tearing you down
yes.
right now.
And so,
Yeah.
It's like choose one or you get neither.
Yeah.
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 Literally.
Yeah.
But she was just like working herself to death, literally, just the stress and anxiety for like really like it wasn't like both jobs at that time. It wasn't about the monetary value. It never
No.
has been. It was more just like she felt it was her passion project for dance
Mhm.
that led to like overcommitments. And then the Sun Gun started as a passion project too. And at times it leads to overcommitments as well, like any business.
Mhm.
Some, there's roads there that kind of intersect of
Yeah.
overcommitment.
You know, and you never want it to, but
Yeah.
it just happens sometimes.
Exactly.
You're eager. It
So and
happens.
Yeah.
so that was kind of like the start of it is like you had to go all in basically at that point to either make it work or be done, like you said, with everything and just
Mhm.
focus on your health.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's what I kind of found is like,
So your main drive basically at that point was based off of just like
health.
the joy it brought you and the health to your life.
And what I was
The
seeing it was
connection.
doing for other people. I just thought it was
nothing with, this is something I can do in a quick amount of time, make money, or,
No.
it wasn't just this like cash grab. Type thought.
No, that was just like a happy coincidence. Right. And then,
Well, then that's great.
Because like,
That's
I'm
great.
not a numbers person. Rad is the numbers person. I go off of this feels good. This is where I'm feeling called to do. This is what gives me energy.
Yeah.
So we're a great balance for each other. I feel like I'm the butterflies and rainbows and he's like the reality and like analysis of everything. And so anyways, like once I was seeing what it was doing for other people, that was like, holy cow. I'm like, like this is amazing.
It's
Like,
more
like a
than just
feeling,
something
a
I'm
purpose.
getting from it.
Yeah. And it gave me so much more than what I had in the dance world. And so I was like, cool, I can make a bigger impact shifting. And so then that's when it was easy to just put all of the energy over there and be like, cool, let's do this. Like I'm supposed to be, I keep getting shoved in this direction. So let's embrace it.
I could see that because like with coaching, you get to take some credit, but at the end of the day, like the kids and the people, they're still going to say, I did my part in making this happen. With the sun gun business, it's all you, it's not like they have to do something different to get a good spray tan.
Yeah.
Exfoliate.
Yeah.
I've learned that.
Yes, you
But-
did. You're practically certified.
But basically they just stand there and it's all you. So it's a rewarding thing, I imagine.
Well, and then I learned like I'm in the people business. So it's not just that I'm giving them this service for whatever they're getting sprayed for. It's like an emotional exchange. But I found that I kind of have a superpower of helping other people find their superpowers.
Okay.
If they're coming to me and I'm spraying them, I don't want to just know about, what are you getting sprayed for? Like, I want to know about your kids. I want to know what you do for your job. Like, I love people. And so I think that's also what kind of set me apart. And then that's what people were seeing with me sharing, like, kind of, it's like hard to explain. So then they were coming to me and being like, hey, can you train me?
Okay.
And I'm like, well, what am I doing that's different? You
But
know?
I
So
think
you had
that-
a social media presence.
Yeah.
And I think what you've done good at is like telling the story basically from like postpartum depression, and they like saw you progress by using like social media is the number one outlet to tell that story, and they followed you along on that journey. So they had a relationship, even though you might not even know even a fraction of the people that came to get a spray tan. They felt like they knew you and were already connected to you, and then you love them anyways, like even without meeting them.
Yeah.
And so you're asking them questions, and so it kind of became like, they got like instant self-confidence from having a spray tan, but then also felt really good about the whole experience because like they knew Teasha from social media, and then she asked them questions about themselves and like made it a fun experience where they could get naked in front of her and and feel fine about it and like come out feeling way better. So,
That's what's important too,
Yeah.
is to have like that good, close like relationship so that
Yeah.
they can feel comfortable coming
Yeah.
to you like that.
Yeah. I think that's good. Yeah. I was vulnerable first.
Yeah.
So
Which
then
is
they
good,
could come in and be vulnerable.
Like not good, but like good.
Yeah. Yeah. Which,
Good.
and that's, I mean, I've always kind of been that way.
Yeah.
I'm like an open book, especially like reading off of other people's energies. Like if I trust you, like you have like my whole heart, like you're going to have everything, which Rad and I talk about all the time. Like he'll go hunting and they're like gone for 6 hours. And I'm like, what'd you guys talk about? And he's like, nothing.
Literally,
And I'm
though.
like, what? You don't know their whole life plan and their childhood and like how their dad messed them up? Like, what do you mean?
Right?
So, anyways.
I think that's
depth.
like really like how the business grew though, is like
Right? Guys and girls are so
Yeah.
different.
I know.
That's
So
how me too.
different.
I'm
Yeah.
like, recap. What happened?
exactly what's the tea.
What is
But like I think like you get what you see is what you get with Teasha, and that's what people saw on the social media, and like what they wanted too, like which is what led into the courses alongside the spray tans, is like people wanted to have that same transformation they saw in Teasha from like being a dancer, which she shared it before she was even the sun gun.
Yeah.
And then when she became the sun gun, she shared that whole journey and like how it helped her and how she kind of like found identity through that, and other women wanted that too alongside. And just I think the tans was kind of more of like a byproduct of
like you.
the transformation of
Yeah.
Teasha
Uh-huh.
and themselves too, seeing themselves a little bit in Teasha's light.
Totally.
Yeah.
So the steps were you quit dance, pursued doing tanning in the boutique
Yeah.
while doing social media,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's where it continued to evolve.
Yeah. And then it was just, I learned very, very quickly. It's not about what you know, it's who you know.
Okay.
So I was very
It's a big tip there.
strategic,
Mhm,
yes,
mhm.
about like getting in the room with the people that I needed to be in connection with. Again, I'm like a people reader
Sure.
and like connector. And it's not like in the sense
Yeah.
of I need to meet you so you can help me. It's like also I love other people's businesses. I want to
Mhm.
support them. I always went into it with how can I help you? And
Okay.
then that always came back to me like full turn. So
What type of people were you meeting up with? Like what?
people that
Demographic.
had
Like collaborations or
Yeah.
yeah, like in the beginning, like collaborations.
Okay.
And then it was more in the sense of like, who do I want to like mentor me? Who do I want to help me get to those next steps? Because I'm finding I have some mental blocks. Like,
Okay.
and that's when I started getting into like hiring coaches for myself
Yeah.
or listening. Like for one example, I wanted to do a collaboration with a boudoir photographer that was
Okay.
here because I was
Yeah.
like, I want to spray all your people. Like
Sure.
they're
right? Yeah.
half naked. This
That makes
just makes
sense.
sense, right?
yeah.
And so we went to
Yeah.
lunch and we were kind of chatting. And she is a very expensive photographer. And it
Mhm.
just like blew my mind that people would pay like $3,000 to have a photo shoot with her, but it was the transformation that she was giving them. It was the
Yeah.
value that she put in there. So I'm
Totally.
like, talk to me about this. So we were out to lunch.
Right.
We were kind of chatting. And then I was like, I want to work together. Like, how can I include my tan into your package or
Yeah.
whatever? And I was just planning to
That's
do
a really good idea.
yeah, like a free tan or
Mhm.
something, you know?
Yeah.
And she was like, why would you do that? And I was like, well, it just makes sense. And she's like, you're devaluing your service.
By giving it for free.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
And I was like,
Oh, she wasn't gonna like just up her
Like, at
package a
least
little bit.
charge for it.
Oh,
Yeah.
it just would have been completely free.
Like,
and that's where I was thinking at the time.
Yeah, I'm like,
you know?
sure.
add that on there.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
that.
Like, just let me, you know, and then in exchange, I could maybe use the pictures or,
You were looking at them as
something.
leads strictly, yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
Versus like some money.
Yeah. Or,
Yeah.
yeah.
I see.
Or some type of like we were talking about doing some type of like commission off of, you know, if they but I mean,
Which still at that
Yeah,
moment that does
mhm.
seem logical.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then in that moment she was like, no. And after she kind of talked to me more about how she did her breakdown of things.
Mhm.
And I left that meeting, I immediately raised my prices and I
Love
never
it.
discounted tans again.
Good for
Good.
you.
Yeah. And
Good
like
for you.
now
And
just like with that mind shift
Mhm.
and then now I like coach people on that.
Mhm.
So I'm so grateful for that like lunch encounter of just
Yeah.
being
Mhm.
like, oh, you don't
Shift in
know what you don't
perspective.
know,
Yeah.
right? When you go into it, you're like, oh, I need to spray people. I need to give value free.
Mhm.
Like, no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
this is what I think matters, but it might not matter to everyone else. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's really important actually.
Yeah. And then we talked about like those people also are not going to be my ideal client.
Nope.
So,
So if they're not going to pay, who cares?
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like know your worth and add tax, you
Mhm.
know?
I
And
feel like that's
what you
been one of
charge.
the biggest lessons since starting our business as well. Is
Yeah.
like charge your worth, don't devalue yourself.
Yeah.
And then even giving someone else a discount is now like devaluing the work you did before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
And I think
Yeah.
there also comes a time when those relationships in the beginning and like those collaborations are really important and they can serve both people
100%.
Yeah.
and it can
Yeah.
be a win-win.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that like you shouldn't do trades or you shouldn't, but you need to make sure that you're very strategic about it and
It's
not
gotta
just
be
doing so many.
Worth it.
Right.
And like knowing like, no, I really value this
Uh-huh.
relationship.
Yeah.
I can see it moving forward. Like I can see the return on my investment.
Uh-huh.
Totally.
So I'm going to do, you know, this discount. How would you?
I
Right,
think
like-
like people show up differently when they know that they're paying for a service and that you know what you're worth and like they are happy to pay an expert for something.
Mhm.
And like even as a business owner, if you give something away for free, you show up differently too. Like you're not going to put
100%.
Yeah. Are
the
you going to
mental
do,
energy into it.
are you
Yeah.
going to do
are.
half a good as job?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or,
like mentally,
right?
it's a little
Like-
bit like
Like I can't tell you how many people have tried like planned shoots at the studio, and then I get calls last minute saying they need to cancel their rental because
Yeah.
all their models aren't showing up because
Yeah.
they were just free models.
Yeah.
It happens
Mhm.
all the time because
That's
when
true.
th's not getting paid, there's no like,
There's
Who's
no
who cares? Like
Yeah.
it's just that that mindset, even if it's not a lot of money, just like the fact that like pain is puts them on another level.
Yeah.
that's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. And that's one thing that we've learned and like we set very early on is, you know, especially it's tricky working with family or friends. You want to like, you want to help them in a way, but then we've learned we're kind of giving them a disservice too if we're just giving them free stuff all the time and
Yeah.
there's like no boundaries there. And so
It's the boundaries part,
Yeah.
like for
Yeah.
yourself also.
yeah, so we
Yeah.
really pride ourselves on if people come to us and they're like, oh, I want to do this for you and give you a discount. I'm just starting my business. We're like, no, we want to pay your full price. We want to be a VIP client.
I love
we
it.
want to support your business. We won't let you give us discounts.
Because
great.
if you want that free person, they're out there.
Yeah.
Like go find them.
Yeah.
Like there's someone out there who will do it for free, but it's not going to be as good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you're
Nowhere in-
selling your soul for
yeah.
it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's just-
you get what you pay for.
It's more
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
the respect though of being like, I respect you enough that I'm going to pay you. I always can't stand when people are like, I give you a chance. I'm like, no, you're not
I hate that.
giving
That's
me
the
a
worst.
chance,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Like, if that's how you're feeling about it, I'm like, I don't know
Yeah.
if we're meant to work together, actually.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Cool.
so
you have products too? Are those products that you guys have made yourselves?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like we've like
So you have like
found-
your own line of products.
Yeah, yeah, that we have our labels on it. It's our brand. We market it. Hired a marketing agency that we're actually really excited.
Dang,
to
how
be
many
working on.
products do you have?
We have about 7, but we have
Okay.
like more in the works that we're really excited
That's
about.
really exciting.
Yeah.
Not just
Okay.
wholesaling someone else, like having your own thing. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so how did you go about doing that?
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
what was that
Okay,
idea? What
so-
was all that?
long short version.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I got accepted to go to like an exclusive like business retreat.
Okay.
And you have to be accepted into it. I don't know if you're from, it's called Susie School.
Hmm.
You have to like apply, be accepted. There's always like 200 plus applicants. I was very I was very new into the business world at that time.
I've
like
never heard of that.
Yeah.
Susie School.
hmm
Okay.
Yeah, she's like a big name around this area
Okay.
in Utah.
So look it up.
Yeah, she's really awesome. She's a business genius. But anyway, so I was like, I'm going to apply. And if I get in, it's like a God thing. Like I need to go.
Mhm.
And got accepted. And I didn't
Mhm.
even tell Rat that I had applied. And I got accepted and I was like, hey, so surprise. I need to pay like $5,000 to go to this thing. And he was like, do it.
Mhm.
And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Mhm.
And he was like, yeah, like do it.
Hmm.
That's exciting. Like
Okay.
congrats for getting in. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh my gosh, okay.
How many
Well-
people get accepted?
12.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's just like business education.
Like business retreat,
Networking.
networking.
Okay.
You kind of break down your business to kind of like help you learn how to market it better and like
Like as
tell
a
your story.
group and like
Yeah.
kind
Mhm.
of awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
and
as
it's
an
like
individual,
one-on-one,
as
like
like a one-on-one,
mentorship
yeah.
Cool.
or whatever.
That's super
Anyway,
cool.
so when I was there and she was like, cool, how can we get you more clients? Like with my one-on-one with her. And I was like, I don't want more. Like I can't do anymore.
I need something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh. And I was like, I actually love like the other side of my business more. So I don't know if I want to be like there 24/7.
Mhm.
And that was a freaking scary thing to learn that you have grown this spray tan business. You just paid $5,000 to come to this retreat and learn that you don't really like spraying.
Mhm.
Is it a
like,
specific
mm.
spray tan retreat or is it all
No,
business?
it was all
Okay.
business.
Okay.
I was like very little fish
Okay.
when I
In
was
the group
there.
of people?
Yes. Or that's how I like felt.
That's how you felt.
Right?
I'm sure you weren't, but you just felt.
Right. That's how I like felt at the time.
Well,
and-
I think she got accepted one because the way they approved your application is they looked at everybody's Instagram and social media and like how are
Sure.
you showing up
Mhm.
like in front of everybody else? Like,
think she saw
are you
my
showing up and
potential.
like what is your story? What is your potential? Like, what are you doing? Like, are you looking for like next level, and are you willing to do what it takes to get there? And I think that's what got you into that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, so then she was like, you need to start a product.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, Susie, no. That's scary. No. And she was like, yeah, that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, well, and like when you pay that amount of money, you show up differently. You're going to listen
You dedicate
to
yourself.
the mentor. You're
Yeah.
going to like,
Yeah.
right? Like I also, that was a big leap for us as a family too. And so I was like, I gotta prove this, right? Like I'm no longer, not that he ever said that. That's just always how I felt. I've got to like prove this. And
Yeah.
anyway, so
That's
then
all worth it.
yeah,
It
came
comes to
back
starting a
and
business.
yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Like you just want to make it, you know,
Mhm.
no one knows what they're doing. And so you just hope for the best.
Mm-hmm.
So then I got back and then just started again, just like researching, going through all the things, trying to find the manufacturers, trying to figure out which route to go.
Mm-hmm.
And that took a really long time. And then it was the right connection. It was the right connection where I paid her to get on a phone call to teach me about a solution brand and like what she knew about it.
Mhm.
And from that call, she gave me the connection that I needed to find my manufacturer
Yeah.
that now we
It's like all just
work
like
with.
it snowballs.
Yeah.
to
Well, and
how
it's like
supposed
what
to
you
go.
focus on
Yeah.
expands,
Mhm.
right? When I got like tunnel vision and started, it was literally like God was like, yeah, here's your person,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I just like embraced it and found it.
Yeah.
And then I just started with like one little product. I think I ordered 10 at the time.
From the manufacturing.
From the
and all of
yeah,
that.
and I was
Mhm.
like, okay, I'm scared, and like
Yeah.
10 little labels from like a local company that were awful, and like got scratched off and whatever, but sent them.
And people bought them.
I sent them first to all of my Susie School friends.
Okay.
That came with
There
me
you go.
because a
That's a
lot
good
of them were
connection.
influencers.
Mhm.
So I sent it to them, and then during COVID, I had my launch.
Okay.
So then I had all of my people already like vetting me. I already had social proof.
Yeah.
And then they helped me with my launch. And
Wow.
yeah.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
so it was just not just here in Idaho. It was all in the United States that people could buy your product, or where were you getting
Yeah.
sales?
Yeah, all over.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, it was really cool. And then again,
So if you hadn't have put all that investment into yourself, you wouldn't be here doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
no.
Spend money to make money, I guess.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. And again, it made me show up different. Like money is just a tool,
And
right?
it sounds like these things you're learning are kind of like you could use even not with Sungun right now. Like
Yeah.
you
All
any other
business.
All
business
business.
it
Mhm.
applies to. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or now, like I mentor, I'm like a business
Right.
coach. I like
Mhm.
mentor people with all
Yeah.
these things that I've learned and
Yeah.
that I've literally done and implemented and
Proven
then paid
works.
for. And I'm constantly like reinvesting into myself. Like so is Rad. Like he has a better, healthier mindset than I am. A lot of
I
times
don't
when
know about
I'm
that.
spiraling,
So do you
he's
go to
like,
these types of things too, Rad?
Yeah,
Not with her or just
Yeah, we've both kind of like ever since we were growing up, like we've both been like entrepreneurs. So we've had many businesses, sold businesses, like started lots of different businesses. And so
what are a few? List off a few.
of
auction
businesses that we
company.
have.
I
yeah.
had a snow
Some of the
cone
fun ones.
business.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Tisha had a snow cone business growing up. And then she had her own dance salon and growing up.
Dance
We grew
studio.
up. Yeah, and
Mhm.
or dance studio, salon.
Uh-huh.
Same thing. So we grew up in Driggs, and like I grew up as a farmer and rancher. And so when I was in like high school, like I trained horses for a living, and then did the farm and ranch stuff. And like I'm a professional auctioneer, so like went to auction school.
Oh, you are?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
And then
kinda, I
He's
want
the
to
guy
hear
to
that. I got to
call
hear
for
that
any
after.
of
That's
this.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we started a business doing that. Like, I mean, we've kind of done all kinds of different things. Like recently, we just sold our real estate business, where I like specialize in like luxury farm and ranch real estate, waterfront real estate, and we just sold that business. in
Saying you really
January.
have like a hand in
All
Yeah.
these different
very
things
different
here.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
it's
and
cool.
which is kind of like to your point, like it's transferable skills. Like we just sold like a vacation rental property management business, some vacation rentals. We've started like, what are some of the other businesses we've done? We started a lot of businesses, and now we're kind of in the mode of like selling the ones that we want to move on from and level up from now. And now we're in the mode of scaling the Sun Gun to a bigger brand.
Which Rad is now CEO. of
Okay,
the
a sun gun.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay.
So like
We got promoted.
yeah, promoted. Does it feel
She
like that
promoted you.
sometimes? So that's kind of what we're doing now is like investing more in the sun gun to scale that, as well as like looking for other businesses to invest in.
Interesting.
And to me, like starting a business is hard, as you guys know. Like it's almost like we started so many now that I'm like, man, buying a business is way easier than starting a business, and just like scaling a business that is already profitable. And there's like, when you start a business, it's your baby, right? Like you birth that thing from an idea phase and a feeling and a gut feeling. And so I think that's kind of like back to your point of like, they're all transferable skills. And like, whether you're running a film studio or spray tanning salon, like it's all the same mindset. And it's really like all the same skills. Like you're working with people and like dealing with your own demons and like trying to be profitable.
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have the right mindset, doesn't matter what strategies you have, you're going to self-sabotage.
100%.
Yeah.
So
It's all
you
mental
got to
in
get
that
your
point.
mind right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that mindset is always really interesting.
Yeah.
That like it can, the same general business principles, like just go to everything.
Yeah.
And,
And,
like, if you
everyone
know-
has the same things.
Like general problems and
Yeah.
issues. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Uh-huh.
just from learning the tools that I've had to do, another thing is like when I ask people, they'll like come to me and I'm like, what's the thing that keeps you up at night? And they'll tell me and I'll be like, cool, so this is what I hear you say. Like I don't ever, like everyone has their own answer. Like you have the skills to solve it yourself. Just sometimes when you're in literally like the trenches of it, you can't see it.
Sure.
So
You have
that's why it's
blinders on.
so important to have a mentor, someone else that can see it for you,
Totally.
to just reshift it to be like, oh, I got this.
Totally.
Okay, like I do have the answers. It's just like a confidence thing.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like a huge believer in like invest in yourself as soon as you can, even
Yeah.
if you have to like trade for services from someone or just someone that you look up to that you want to reach out to on Instagram or something, like
Yeah.
do it.
So how
So
do you
how-
promote like your mentoring? How did you kind of dabble in that more?
It was kind of just the same
Just people reaching out to you again?
Just-
She shared
yeah,
about it on
organic.
social media.
Oh, okay.
Like,
after.
So
after
social
so
media
many
has been like a
people-
real big driver for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
have you had to do things like boosted ads and stuff like that, or has it been pretty
No,
organic?
It's been all organic.
Good
That's
for
cool.
you.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
It's been really good.
Mhm.
So I just also, the people that I work with, like they see something of their self in me.
Mhm.
And that's why they're like attracted to my page or like what I'm talking about, or something hits with them if like they're also struggling with postpartum stuff, or their kids have eating issues, which I share a lot on my page too. Like I share all the things. And so whatever it is that's bringing those people in, like that's what they're like needing at the
Yeah.
time, right? So
Yeah.
again, like if I get the creative, I call it a creative download. If I get this idea that like I need to share this, or I don't even question it. I'm not like, oh my gosh, that's dumb. I'm like, okay. Because again, if I'm not sharing, I'm making it about me, and it's
Mhm.
not about me. So when I just started doing that, and then that's when people were reaching out being like, hey, do you offer, and so I started doing trade secret calls also during COVID, where they
like
could book a
that.
call with me and
Mhm.
like ask me anything. What do you want to know?
I
I'm an
love
open
it.
book. I don't gatekeep. And then that turned into like Marco mentoring.
For spray tan specific.
Cool.
No, just
For anything.
businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. I love it.
I thought it was going to be just
Yeah.
for spray tans,
Yeah.
but it was literally like teeth whitening businesses or,
Nice.
you
there was
know.
virtually like 0 spray tan businesses
Yeah.
that you were working
Interesting.
with. Like,
So
Yeah.
it shows
all-
it's just
yeah.
literally anybody,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
not a niche market.
Yeah.
It's just so cool.
Yeah. So then I was like, well, cool. I just always reverse engineer what I want, what works on me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so I'm like, sometimes sitting down for an hour on these calls is kind of hard with my schedule. When do I have like the most quiet? Oh, when I'm driving.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, how can I bring coaching into like your everyday life? So then I developed Marco mentoring, where from the like Marco Polo app,
Okay.
when you like have the idea or whatever, it's literally like a coach in your back pocket. You could just pull it out, brain dump, and then I get on and we chat. And it also has more of that like personal connection
Yeah.
to it. It's literally like you're talking with a
I need
friend.
to look at
Yeah.
that app more. I've seen more people talk about it,
Yeah.
but I've never even
It's really cool.
looked at it.
I
Yeah.
hate it.
You hate it?
Yeah.
You don't
It's
use it?
awesome.
No.
But now, since then, like we've even outgrown that now.
Okay.
So now we've had to like totally revamp and upgrade our Marco mentoring to now a whole community where we're
Wow.
like on an app that
Yeah.
people can come in
And did you get that app developed?
yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's just through Slack. Have you heard of Slack?
I've heard of Slack.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's kind of like a Facebook group on steroids,
Okay.
but it's like not a Facebook group.
That's cool though.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
within an app. So then your whole community's in there. And
And-
right now we're
yeah.
doing it where it's just spray tan.
Specific for that
Mhm.
one. And do they have
Yeah.
to pay to be into the group?
Yeah, it's just like a monthly, really inexpensive.
I love it.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then
I
I'm
love it.
hoping within that platform, I'm creating mini mentors,
Sure.
right? Like we can all learn something.
Uh-huh.
I'm not the only person we need to like be learning
Mhm.
from, right? So like I can
Sure.
pull Rad in
Mhm.
and be like, talk about numbers, talk
Mhm.
about mindset, I can bring in the other professionals, and then hopefully the girls that are within that group can then also be mentoring within it, and then who knows what that's going to take them
Yeah.
to go and do and help.
We've all got some different ideas and different experiences.
Yeah.
So you never know.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like a positive MLM. Like like as
Pretty
you
much,
grow,
yeah.
you're not profiting off them. You're just helping
We're just
people grow
learning.
in that
Oh my
way.
gosh,
you
I
know, but
literally
you're not
hate
actually
that so much.
I'll cut that one out.
No, you're
I had
fine.
to say it.
No, it's funny. I think you should leave it in. But
Yeah, I
yeah.
think, and like really like some of it, like where we're at now is like to scalability, like what gets you from 0 to 100,000 and from 100,000 to a million and a million to 10 million. Like it's
Mhm.
different levels of like things you have to do, right? So like
Yeah.
that's kind of like what she's explaining is like Marco mentoring, like you only have so much time now, and now you've affected so many people and like helped so many people. Now you have to do it on a bigger platform.
Mhm.
So now it's like morphed into a mastermind community, really. And like that's morphing into like pulling mini mentors out of there
Yeah.
to help other people, because now Teasha's time is just so strapped that she can't do it all herself. Like
Yeah.
we have to like delegate and use other people, which is better anyways. Like
Mhm.
it's better to have that combined brain power than
Yeah.
just one
And then it
person.
gives me secretly
Yeah,
a
it's so
platform
cool.
to see their superpowers and like their magic,
Yeah.
to be like, hey, I want you to come work for
Mhm.
me. You know?
Yeah.
So
No, that's
anyways.
really cool.
Mhm.
How do you have any free time? You have
Yeah.
children. You
Yeah,
have
we
all
have
of
lots.
these
We
businesses.
have lots of free time.
Okay.
I have free time.
What do you do to do that?
She doesn't have so much free
But
time.
I love my business.
Her-
Like
your free time is your business.
yeah, like it gives me,
Mhm.
so he's great at helping me create boundaries
Mhm.
around that and like healthy things within my business.
Mhm.
But
Well,
Anyways.
like
I think that's really cool. I think that's where so many people mess up, is they don't have that person to like talk sense into them and make those boundaries. And
yeah.
yeah.
a lot of times when you are starting off a business, I feel like it's easy to just like ignore those boundaries.
Oh,
Yeah.
But it sounds like you guys have together been able to get Sungun up and going pretty quick without ever like a long period of time where you were in that like lull of like not knowing what to do to fix it. Like it seems like you guys were always like pretty proactive trying to figure out like
You've been going.
how to
Yeah.
Yeah.
what's next, not just like
yeah.
I'm doing spray tans and that's that. Like you had like the so what, like now what? Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and I think just because we're so in tune with like, okay, like not so much we're looking for it, but it just finds us, and then
Yeah.
we listen to that and we take action, like we're action takers.
That's big.
And, like-
taking the action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you seem to
Thanks.
value time over money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
exactly.
you
And
know,
that's
equal-
from
where,
like
equal
from
out.
the decisions you're making.
yeah.
Like
Yeah. Well, and like you
Yeah.
guys could probably attest to this too. Like is it like couplepreneurs basically? Like you kind of learn what you're really good at and what they're really good at, and like
Mhm.
you stay out of their kitchen, they stay out of your kitchen, and like you kind of help balance them out. And so like it's a good partnership. Like we fight, you know, we have all those arguments and things like that too. But like to your point, like when we're stuck on something, like, oh man, like this feels like it's plateauing, like we like kind of brain dump on each other and be like hear each other out and be like, oh, well, what about this? Like I'm more of like like I want to solve the problem right then, right now, and like she's like the creative mind,
Mhm.
and like so like, well, what about this? Like you build up some hype about this, like so. That's kind of like you guys could probably attest to that too, just
Sure,
in your own,
yeah,
in your own way.
absolutely.
Like
Mhm.
I think that's kind of like what's helped us is like we both supported each other in different
You each have
things
your own
that we
strengths.
wanted to do.
that
Yeah.
you- yeah.
But you have to kind of know yourself too, like
Totally.
which is why we, going back to earlier, like you have to invest in yourself. Like whether it's through coaching or like taking personality tests, or like you have to know kind of where your boundaries are. Like if Teasha is an overworker, like there's no boundaries there. Like you have to kind of know that about yourself. Or like me, if I get into analysis paralysis, like you kind of have to know that and like have somebody that can kind of rebalance me out and like that kind of thing too.
Yeah, no, that's really important.
Yeah. But I think we've come a long way too, because he knows how to speak my language now, or we'll be out on a date and he's like, let's talk business. And I'm like, say less. What do you want to talk about? Like, it's my like if you were to be like, hey, for our date, let's go to the salon and like label bottles. I'd be like, I just want to kiss your face off.
No.
Let's do it.
I know. But like, I just, yeah, like it's so fun just knowing the different, but then I also know about him, it's very important to not always talk about business and not always do that. And so we try to kind of.
Yeah. Especially with the
Even it out.
couples and
Yeah.
business.
Yeah. Because
That
you guys work
line.
together.
Yeah.
Like you get it, you know? Like
You
could
definitely have
be-
your points too, where you're like, okay, we've been talking too much about business right now.
Yeah.
Like we've
Yeah.
gotta, well, not as much now since we like this business that we're doing.
Yeah.
I'd say back in our like retail days when we were managing stores and whatnot, it was the
That's
dance
when it got
what
out
you
of
were
hand
talking
for
about.
sure.
Yeah.
Was
Just calling
like-
bitch for like an hour each.
Just
Like,
drama.
all right, now it's your
drama,
turn. And
drama. And then you're just like mentally draining each other with all
Yeah.
this BS from,
Mhm.
drama.
just
But now it's great because then it's like, okay, stuff we want to do, stuff we want to talk about.
So
What
it's
would you
giving
say,
you
like in your roles, like right now, like what's kind of like your superpowers in the business? Like what's kind
Oh,
of, how do you
man.
differentiate?
I feel like I'm really good at like having this big picture vision
Yeah.
and knowing like the literal things that it takes to get there, like cameras, looks, angles, like people, like the logistics of things.
Yeah, the systems and the logistics.
But I am also really good at like wanting more than we can handle or do, or like what the budget deserves. So I always like really want to go big and do more and do more. And Sarah's really good at like reeling me in and being like,
Yes.
like not in a way that's like not doing something that's really cool, but like, is it worth it?
Yeah.
And I've
Yeah,
learned
I'm
to
like, we're
trust
gonna
her on
waste
that
money on that.
after
Yeah.
a lot of shoots at the beginning, like not listening. And,
Yeah.
you know, she gives her feedback and I'm like, no, this shot's worth it. We go through all this shit.
Waste
and,
hours
and
and
then
money.
the shot just isn't worth it, doesn't hit. And it's just like, so I've learned that
Yeah.
I don't always know what's best and to listen to the people around me. And I think
Yeah.
for me, that's
You
my
gotta
strength
have
is
that.
thinking big, but it's also my
Yeah.
crutch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she brings a lot of logic to it. And,
Yeah.
but I
That
don't know. I
makes-
feel like we're
that's cool.
both, I don't know. You bring,
I'm
what
like,
do you think you bring?
I'm like, what do I bring
Yeah.
to the table? I wasn't prepared with this question.
No, from my point of view, Sarah, like the shoots I don't have her, she is the
Okay,
person
this,
that keeps
yes.
the show running.
Yes.
Like I know how to take the pictures and get the video, but when she's not there, the vibe just
I'm
isn't
just
like
the
the same.
management. Of
Like, you
everything.
need someone
you're
to
the bouncer,
help the
like
talent.
the buffer and like the
But in a
Mm-hmm.
way that she understands what I'm doing because she's
Yeah.
been around since the very beginning. So like
Like mentally, I know if he's like,
if
oh,
she
shit,
sees
shit.
a look on my face where I'm like something's going wrong, she knows to like stall a little bit. or-
Yeah.
yeah, that's
So
cool.
I definitely noticed that shoots when she's there are like way smoother
Yeah.
than when I'm alone.
Well, we tried to do a shoot the other day just to like have our own creative thing because we're always doing things for like other businesses.
Yeah.
And so we try to do a styled shoot and we're taking photos. I'm wearing like this fur coat and all this stuff. I'm just feeling so like claustrophobic. It was just too much.
Yeah.
And then I could tell like my hair was everywhere. And normally I'm that person that like pays attention to like where the clothes are sitting or like just literal styling that, you know, you don't, because I have to edit afterwards. That's
Yeah.
another thing. I'll edit like the
Oh.
photos afterwards. So I'm
That's a
like,
big
if there's
job, too.
lint,
Yeah.
I'm like, we're lint rolling that right now because I'm not
Yeah.
spending 2 hours later like getting it off of your
Yeah.
photos. But anyway, I was like, I'm having a little mini mental breakdown because I could not fix my hair and I'm sweating my ass off. And I'm like, I need someone who's me here
Yeah.
to help me. I'm like,
I need a stage mom.
yes, literally, I need my stage mom to help me out right now. And it was like I was just that missing piece from our
Yeah.
own shoot to
Yeah.
help me out.
You're probably like, I am
makes
very,
sense.
very needed.
No, literally,
at
in
all
that
of these
moment, I
things.
was like, I need me right now.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
no, for sure. I know a lot of people who are like, as photographers, they're like really like ego based in their careers and like they base everything off like me and like what I did. But like,
Yeah.
any shoot that I've done with a team or people around has been way better than
Yeah.
A group
Yeah.
project.
anything I can do. So
hmm
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a difference like on like the DIYers, like because like I grew up like on a farm and like we made our own parts. When sometimes I'm like, well, let's just go to Rexburg and buy this part. And
To save
and like
us time.
it was kind of like, and I grew up with that mindset because like our parents grew up in the Depression era. I think like too, like their parents were in the Depression, and like
Fix it.
so you do it yourself, like you do everything yourself, and like that's a mindset shift to like have a business partner like that, and like being in a group setting of like to what your comment of like some photographers are like all about like I did all of this, I edited it, I shot the photos, I did the video, I did this the whole setup, like where that's like a limiting belief really, like if you're a good business owner when you aren't needed in the business and like everybody else is.
You can trust other people's thoughts and opinions on
Like
it.
I will hope one day I don't have to touch the camera and set anything up, and I'm just directing.
Yeah,
Like,
when
that's the
you're
dream.
irrelevant, that's the best thing. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
That's the goal for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to be at a dinner sitting next to you guys.
God,
Yeah.
I hope
Next
so.
time and us talking about that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
What got you into like pursuing all of these businesses and being like very entrepreneurial?
Oh, it's like always
It's always been there.
yeah. So like
Okay.
my grandparents, like I grew up working at the Eastern Idaho State Fair
Okay.
from like very young. They own the Pronto Pup stand and stuff. It's corn
Okay.
dogs,
Nice.
if you don't know what that is.
Okay.
So like just I think that's where I fell in love with people. Around September time, like you
Yep.
go work at the
A
fair,
lot
like
of people.
yeah, right.
Mhm.
Like I get irrationally happy.
Really?
about
That's
the
so
fair.
funny.
Which
Yes.
most
I love
people would
it.
get irrationally angry at
Yes.
a place like that.
Like it is weird. Like
like, I'm
I
home.
love
Uh-huh.
it. The smells, like everything. I just love everything about it. And so that's kind of where I got my first bug. And then in high school, I was very fortunate that my parents invested in me and bought a snow cone stand. And like that was my
That was in high
first-
school?
Mhm,
That's
that was
really
my first
cool.
business.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
So I ran that, and then I opened up my own dance studio.
Oh, wow.
We
okay.
got
Mhm.
married and then moved, and then I sold the snow cone business for like, I don't know, I think we bought it for like $7,000 and I sold it for $12,000.
Great.
Nice. And got all that experience.
Yes.
No, that's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah. And it was really cool to have something to build it.
Yeah.
And then, and so I feel like it's always just been, and even when I had other jobs, like when I worked at the hospital as a newborn photographer and these other positions that I had, I always saw their business as like my business. I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
how can we make this better? How can
Yeah.
we make this bigger? How can we serve more people? And
when
I learned
working
very,
with someone else.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Learned very early on, I'm not a good employee because I'm a business owner.
Yeah, you're like, I've
Mhm.
got the idea here.
Yes, and like
Mhm.
I tend to find I was loving their business more than
Yeah.
they did, or they wanted to put
And that's
in,
the
and
worst
so it would crush
feeling.
your dream. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
It's
so
the
then that's
worst.
when I was like, yeah, I'll always, even if I mean, you always want to burn it down, right? Like you always want to, like every so often, I'm like, I just want to burn this all down and be
Mhm.
done and just work a 9 to 5. I would start something else.
Literally
Yeah.
before doing that.
Yeah. So it's like, do you want to start
Literally.
over or do you want to just pivot?
Mhm.
Like, or is it just you're getting ready to start your period and it's fine
hmm
that you don't need to burn it down?
Yeah,
So,
right?
Yeah.
No, those things to think about.
Yeah. But like,
Right, that
yeah.
podcast you were just listening to before this one.
What?
They were like, when you have feelings or emotions, most just pass in like
Oh.
90 seconds. So they're just, if you're feeling weird, just wait it out
Yeah.
or think
yeah.
about it. And are you hungry or tired
Yeah.
or you're thirsty? Like,
was
don't
literally right
freak
before
out.
you
Don't
came
like
in.
spiral. Just sit and like
She was
wait
like,
till
"You
the
get
next
mad,
thought
just
comes
sit
out.
there
Yeah.
for a second.
Yeah.
And then it'll go away.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe I should practice that more.
Yeah. It's hard.
Nope, another new business. Let's
Yes.
go.
Okay, so do you have any advice for someone who's wanting to pursue a passion or start their own business?
Yeah, you need to do it because someone is needing you. Like that's why you're getting that call, like that feel, and it won't go away. I'm
Yeah.
sure it keeps popping up in like other forms, but like if it's like your purpose, it's like what you need to be doing. And so if you're getting stuck in that, well, I don't want to fail, I don't want to, sure, none of us do, but also by you not taking that action, you're not able to serve those people that are needing you.
Mm-hmm.
Just like when I would have people that will come in and, they told me they got a spray tan and then their mother-in-law passed away like the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And that tan meant so much to them because they could cry, they could grieve, but they still felt beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, whoa, like that makes
oh God, don't put that on me right,
right?
now.
Yes, like if everybody
yeah.
gets,
Yeah.
it's just such, again, like that emotional exchange. Like you never know what it's for someone. So I would say don't get in your own way. It's not about you. It's about them.
Do you
I like
still
that.
feel that you get that feeling of satisfaction from the role that you're in now with the business?
Oh, even more so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Probably just because you have a bigger reach, I imagine, right? Like,
Yeah, and I feel like I feel like I'm helping people on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
Like now I'm helping them start businesses
Mm-hmm.
for their families, for, you know, they're also feeling like lost in momhood and we have very similar stories, or they want to help their family financially, or they want, it's like their revenge business because they're getting divorced.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, to me, it's like more your success now becomes my success.
Mhm.
Like I am now your business partner.
Mm-hmm.
Message me when you need me. Like let's get this going. So it's even, I just feel like I never think that it can get better than it does, but it just keeps getting better and bigger and better. And like, I love it.
That's so cool. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
That's great.
Yeah. What
That's
about you,
really
Rad?
exciting.
Do you have any advice?
For like people wanting to start a business.
Yeah, or pursue a passion or
Yeah, I think like I think that what makes Teasha and I good is like she's like, do it, right? Like just like take action and do it. And
Messy action.
yeah, and like which you should. Like if you're feeling like those feelings, like I think you need to like give that attention. But like I'm on the other side of too. Like now that we've started so many businesses, like we've sold some, we've shut some down. Like I've done it enough now too. Like with Teasha that like I'm like I don't know if everybody should start a business. Like maybe you should buy a business, or maybe you should explore that feeling a little bit more. Like 90% of businesses fail in the first 5 years because you have a lack of capital to start a business, or you have a lack of strategy, or a lack of like delegation or leadership principles. And so like, yes, I think you should like explore like that passion or that feeling, that where's that coming from? Like, what should you do with that? I think the first thing you should do is like hire a mentor. You've got to invest in yourself first before you start the business. And like, don't start a business unless you have like a plan to follow. Like, unless you're Elon Musk and like you have like this crazy creative mind, like don't just start a business like with not a, you got to have a mentor and a plan to follow. Like don't be reinventing the wheel. Otherwise you're going to burn yourself out or overwork yourself, or not have the budget, and you're going to just run out. And then you're going to be worse off if you follow that passion feeling and then
See, that's
shut the door.
where we disagree.
So,
Because I'm like, if you have to have the perfect plan, you're never gonna start.
and I'm not saying the perfect plan. You just need to have like a plan, like with a good success opportunity, like taking a calculated risk of like hiring a mentor that's already been there and done what you want to do,
Yeah.
and then go
Talk
there.
it out.
the strategic approach.
Like
Exactly.
like 70% of the plan.
Yeah, if
75%.
if you're 70-80% of the way there, like take messy action. Like it will never be 100%. Like you'll never be 100% ready for kids. Like if you're like the majority of the way there, go for it and figure it out along the way. As long as you have like a mentor to guide you or a plan in place to
And
like
what we mean by mentor is even just talking
a course.
to
Yeah.
an online course, just learning more about the craft or like whatever you're wanting to go into, talking to a friend,
Yeah.
It doesn't mean like you can take those baby steps. But one thing that I did learn too in some retreats that I've gone to is like there's no bad business decisions. And that like hit me so much of you literally learn from each one. And a lot of times when people don't take action is because they're so scared they're going to make a wrong decision. But there's really not a wrong decision. It's a learning.
You'll learn from it anyway.
Yeah. And it sounds so cliche to even
Yeah.
say that of like, well, you learn a lesson. But like, no, it's true.
It's
If
really
you
sinks in
know
now.
that like it's either like A or B, but both are great,
yeah.
that's a whole lot more of like an expansive, exciting feeling than like take the blue pill or the red pill. One of them you die.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like that's
The
really
lesser of two
scary.
evils. Like I'd rather deal with that than
yeah.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be on the path that, you know, whatever you believe in, like we have God in our business. Like we're truly believers in that. And so I just know with whatever we're doing, like when Rad had another idea to do like an online course, or it was for e-commerce products or whatever, right? Like
On how to sell e-commerce products.
He like invested in that, and then at the he like tried some of those products, and then he's like he shut that down. Now we're using that exact same course for our Sun Gun products. Like it's come full circle. So in the time, he probably would have thought, you know, someone on the outside would have thought like, oh, that was a bad decision. But like, no, that's what I feel like that's what I needed to get him more invested in, like the Sun Gun stuff. Cause then he was like, oh my gosh, these products are amazing. And he was always supportive and always amazing. But then that's when he was really like, he saw the bigger picture and the numbers of it and was like, we could serve so many more people with the products versus the service side.
Yeah.
So like,
While
let
having
me
a better
come in.
lifestyle.
Yeah. Like, let me come in and like, let's
Mm-hmm.
get this going. And so I feel like that needed to happen because of that decision that he learned about the e-commerce side.
Yeah.
Right? It's like
So many things
half
happen
this
that
camera
way.
gear I bought like 5 years ago when we were living in Hawaii and
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
living paycheck to paycheck, and I'd like find this good deal on some light that there's like some of these in here, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be like, Sarah, I need to buy this. She's like, why? Like we didn't even have a business at
That's
that
how
point.
it
Like it was
is.
just a side
Yeah.
hustle. and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, but just something's telling me that like we just, I don't know. Like this wouldn't be here for this price
For so
on
cheap.
Craigslist out
Crazy
of
cheap.
nowhere. Like
Yeah.
it's telling me to buy it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. Every single thing
All
we've
of our
gotten
gear.
is all being used. Like, and it's just like really satisfying to like not have wasted all that money.
yeah. That you're like, oh, that's cool that I
actually worked
listened to
out.
that.
And it's like what you're saying. It was just this weird gut feeling.
Mhm.
I don't know why. I don't know. It just felt like,
Well, how everything kind of happens that way, where it's just like baby steps or like snowballs into it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like,
and then like you also said at the beginning, once you close your eyes or channel your focus, like everything expands and you learn about all this other stuff that you're like, didn't know of even existed,
Yeah.
mhm.
which is fun, but it's scary.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Which I tell people all the time. I'm like, excited and scared are actually like the same.
It's the same feeling.
It's the same feeling.
Yeah.
It's literally just where you want to focus that thought to,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
you know? So, which is kind of cool.
Always got to tell yourself that.
Yeah.
And
I'm
like,
not
am I
scared.
nervous?
I'm
not
actually
nervous.
so excited.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
so excited right now.
Yeah. We tell our kids that all the time too.
That's a good tip.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on our podcast today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
so
you
much
guys.
for having
I
us.
feel like
Very
we learned
excited
more
to be on
about
here.
you, but there's like still so much more.
Same.
feel like we
it's
just scratched the
about you
so
guys.
much more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every
Well, same
time
with
we
you guys
talk.
because like we watch you guys too, like on your Instagram and like
Uh-huh.
oh man, everybody uses the Film Garage. Like we're hopping on that boat too. And like
Yeah.
so
Hop on
we're-
that boat.
Yeah.
Help me hire
Where-
someone.
Yeah.
Where can everyone find you? On Instagram?
Just our Instagram.
Sun Gun Tanning?
Yeah, the Sun Gun Tanning.
Okay.
Yeah,
Easy.
yeah,
Easy.
yeah. It's really awesome. We're really
And they can book
fun.
appointments through there and everything too.
Yeah,
Byproducts.
message us if they have. Like I'm always on the Instagram chatting with people. Like I love Instagram for that way, just connecting everyone. I have so many Instagram friends. It's
Do you
the
just talk
best.
to random people?
Oh,
have like
all the
open
time.
conversation.
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. People will reach out, be like, hey, what do you think about this? Or if it's spray tan related, if it's they want to
Yeah.
start a business, if they just have, hunting questions, the last rad, like, because I'm always showing him.
Yeah, going to the hunting convention.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
exactly.
I've seen this.
Dragging me
Yes.
along.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's fun. It's a good
stuff.
time.
Good
But
stuff. Well, thank you so much. If you made it
no.
this far, follow and subscribe, please.
Thanks,
And thank
guys.
you.